Gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. I feel loud. That's much better. It is Wednesday in the Quad Cities, May 28th. Thank you guys so much for joining us on a gloomy Wednesday here in the Quad Cities. A little rain this morning, a good day to stay inside and check out a fun show. If you're watching us live on YouTube, we appreciate that. If you have subscribed, thank you. If you have not subscribed, please do so ASAP. Like, comment, rate, all those kind of fun things that help us out on YouTube as well. We're also live on X as always. X is very, very good to us. We appreciate you if you watch us on X. Easy access there to kind of check out the show throughout the morning as well. And of course, we always mention, check us out on all the podcasting platforms as well. We are up on every single one of them. Apple, Spotify, you name it. We should be on it. So go check out Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Subscribe to the podcast version as well. Well, we want to welcome everyone to today's show. A lot of fun stuff to get to today. You know, each and every week we spend our Mondays with former Iowa great, former Colt great, current Iowa football radio analyst Pat Anger. Usually comes on Mondays. Obviously, no show this Monday because of Memorial Day. So Pat is nice enough to join us in a matter of moments. And a lot of people, Pat didn't even realize this, that his anniversary, if you will, of when he was named the radio analyst of the Iowa Hawkeyes coming up quickly, about a year ago around this time. So we'll talk to Pat about that first year and some fun memories, some moments from the booth itself. Should be a lot of fun to talk to him about that, Memorial Day, all that kind of stuff. So Pat Anger in just a matter of moments. Coming up after Pat, excited to be joined by United Township legend Mark Bam Pustelnik. Bam is the athletic director right now at United Township, and he's only that for maybe a week more. I don't know. We'll find out. But retiring very soon at the end of this season, or this school year, if you will. So I want to talk with and catch up with Bam about not just what athletics at United Township look like right now, because they're in a really good spot, but obviously his storied career, his coaching career in wrestling, a lot to get to. Really good dude. Mark Bam Pustelnik coming up in just a little bit. And also in hour number 2 of the show, as always, here on a Wednesday, excited to be joined by a Quad City Steamwheeler. We'll have one of their assistant coaches on in the second hour of the show. The Wheelers coming off that bye. They're 6-2. They hit the road for Tulsa this week. They'll be back home in the Quad Cities on June 14th. So we'll do a little Steamwheeler Wednesday brought to you by XUSD coming up in just a little bit as well. If you missed yesterday's show, shame on you. Go watch it. A lot of good stuff. Assumption track coach Tim O'Neill was in studio. Tim just wrapped up his 25th and final season at the helm of Assumption Track. We talked about his storied career, that area where they won 5 straight state titles on the girls' side of things, the athletes he remembers the most and all that kind of stuff. And also look back at the state track weekend from last weekend. So go check out Tim O'Neill. Also, Josh Schuler was on the show. Really good feedback from that interview, which I'm excited about because I don't know if a lot of people realize who he is, where he's from, what he does. We always talk about those guys that go from the Quad Cities to the NFL. Josh is one of those guys that did that, not on the field, but as a strength and conditioning coach. He's been the head strength and conditioning coach for the Detroit Lions for quite some time. He's been in Detroit for like 9 years. He's a Muscatine native, grew up here in the Quad Cities, loves the Quad Cities, loves this area. So got to catch up with him yesterday. Go check out the interview. Talks a lot about how he got to where he is, the importance of this area to him, the importance of Iowa to him, all that kind of stuff as well. So go check out Josh Schuler's interview yesterday. I promise you it's well worth your time. And then also always great to be joined by Jake Gervais yesterday. Jake, the former Assumption, it might as well have been an Assumption show yesterday. He's a former Assumption standout, obviously, former Hawkeye, former Super Bowl champion as well. Jake getting ready for the 5th annual Rally for Reed football camp coming up on June 27th. So take some time, go check that out. Rallyforreed.org is where you can get your kids signed up. A bunch of former Hawkeyes will be there as well. Jake will be there teaching the game of football and raising money for a very good cause, kids battling cancer, and also celebrating Reed Gleason as well, a very special young man that Jake got to be very close with during his years at the Iowa Hawkeyes or with the Iowa football program up at the University of Iowa. So go check out yesterday's show. It was a ton of fun, a lot of good information on there, a lot of good stuff to get to on that. Before we get rolling on today's show, the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing is coming up on June 14th. If you haven't heard me talk about it, then you haven't watched the show because I talk about it all the time. I lost my father to cancer about 13 years ago. So it's the 11th annual Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing, raising money for the Knights of Columbus. It's at Highland Springs Golf Course, June 14th, 1 p.m. shotgun start. We're almost full. We got a couple teams that we can squeeze in, and we would love to have you guys come out and join us. We make it a big fun party. You'll see a lot of familiar faces from the world of sports, from WQAD, my former life at WQAD. James O'Hara will be out there. Shelby Kluver will be on hand. Corey Kuffler, all those kind of people as well. But there'll be a Iowa football team, an Illinois football team. They'll compete against each other on the golf course. It's a ton of fun. Charles Jugasol will be in the house, Pat Anger, a bunch of people. So if you have not signed up and you're interested, it's a great day of golf. Snoop caters the entire thing. There's Snoop's chips and salsa out on the course itself. So as you go through, you get to eat some chips and salsa along the way. So it's a really good time. Check it out, GuyRandazzoGolf.com if you're interested in signing up, if you're interested in being simply a whole sponsor, all those kind of things. Go check it out. We'll get some raffle baskets and raffle opportunities out there on social media coming up probably later this week as well. So a lot of good things to get to when it comes to the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing. Sounds cheesy, sounds cliche, but it's Father's Day weekend, but it's my favorite weekend of the year. Gives me a chance to kind of reminisce a little bit, remember my old man as well. So come join us and take part in the fun if you'd like to as well. And we're joined now by a very familiar face on a Wednesday. You know, I didn't get to talk to you on Monday because, it was Memorial Day and we were honoring Memorial Day, so no show. But it's a rainy, dreary Wednesday, and I'm like, people need sunshine in their lives. And so I thought they need Pat Anger.
Thanks, man. I agree.
Now,
If this is really shiny.
It is.
Right here.
It is. What are you doing on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities?
I'm working, of course. And then I got to go to, my kids got a thing at their school, so I'm going to go to that.
What's the thing at the school? Like, is it like an award thing? Are they getting like academic awards and stuff like that?
Yeah. No, it's run into the summers. So it's kind of like a family friendly thing. And the kids, every class runs a mile. They've been doing it at Paul Norton for a long time. And yeah, it's a good time.
I think
kids are excited about it.
That sounds cool because like that also teaches like exercise, go run, like go do something.
Oh, are you trying to turn this around are you trying to say something about me being fat? Is that what you're trying to do?
No, I mean, I would never say anything like that. You didn't listen to Jake Gervais's interview yesterday, did you?
No, I don't think anyone did.
No, they did. There's numbers that prove otherwise. I don't know if they're listening for him. You know who I had on yesterday that I thought you'd think was cool? You didn't watch. I'm going to make you watch it. Josh Schuler. Have I told you about him?
No.
He's from Muscatine, a Muscatine grad. He's the head strength and conditioning coach for the Detroit Lions.
Nice.
Good dude, man. Really good guy. Love the conversation. I think you guys see the world a lot alike, if that makes any sense.
How did he get up there? How did he end up there?
You got to watch the show.
Oh, man.
But like, long story short, he went to like Iowa State and got like his junior college diploma, whatever you get at Iowa State. Is that what it is?
I have no idea. I don't even know what you get at any college.
I'm
To
kidding.
be
It
honest
was
with
it
you.
was a joke. Junior college
Yeah.
because it's not a real.
Yeah.
Whew.
I got masters.
Anyways, what's that? Masters. And then he went to a bunch of bounced around. Like went to Auburn, went out to Colorado. He explains it all, but like he eventually, you know, who gave him his first gig? Jim Caldwell.
Oh, my man Jim.
That's how long he's been in Detroit. And so think about it.
Wow.
He's seen like the Caldwell era, which by the way was not a bad era. Like that
No.
guy could coach. He was a good guy, culture wise, all that kind of stuff. And then he suffered through the Patricia stuff. Although he does say that Matt Patricia
Forgot
gave
about
him,
him.
yeah, Matt Patricia gave him his first head job. So like he
Yeah.
actually had a lot of good things to say about him. And then now obviously he's with the greatest organization in the history of mankind, with my guy DC right here and the Detroit Lions. So yeah, it was a good conversation. But
That's
he
cool.
loves Iowa, man. Like family here, a Muscatine guy, he's got some family in DeWitt, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was cool to see. I like to celebrate and show light to Quad Cityans doing great things. And that used to be you when you were in the
Quad
NFL, but that was a
Cityans?
long time ago. Isn't that
Quad
what it
Cityans?
is? Is it
Quad
Quad Cityans?
citizens.
No,
Quad citizens.
Quad Cityans.
Quad citizens. When did he graduate from Muscatine? Do you know? Because I remember. I mean, assuming is he around my age? Because they had a pretty good football team. They were pretty solid when I was in high school.
How old are you?
38.
Yeah, I think he's between you and me. I think he's 42-ish, so maybe not
Okay.
quite your era, but really good guy. So yeah, I'm encouraging everybody to go watch it because like, and also like that guy that doesn't love the spotlight. Like, great to do it, awesome dude, but he's not looking.
Yeah, like the opposite of you.
Yeah, like he's just doing it because he loves to do it. You know, he's not doing it to be famous, be in the NFL, all that kind of stuff. So, no, it was
That's
cool.
cool.
It was good stuff. What'd you do on Memorial Day weekend?
No sports, Matt. No use. Well, we had one soccer game, but whatever. Yeah, it was the greatest. It was the
Wow.
great. I was never rushed. I was relaxed. There was nothing like it was just it was the best. It was so great. And I don't know why I don't do that every weekend.
What did you do? What did you guys do? Anything, or just nothing?
We like hung out.
Yes, that's the best. Sometimes when you have like, that's why I want my vacations. My wife, God bless her, and thank God she never watches the show. Most don't, according to you. So she loved these vacations we do are awesome. Like we go everywhere. We do all these fun things, but they're freaking exhausting. And I am a big proponent sometimes of just having like nothing to do. And it sounds like that's what you had this weekend, was like nothing to do.
Yeah, that's exactly. It was really good. Like I was able to take my time mowing the grass. Like that was cool. Took the kids fishing. Kale dropped his phone in the lake or in the little pond. So we got to get him a new phone.
So he
that was
wanted a
good.
new phone. And so he did the old,
And he had a
oh,
nice one. He had a really nice one too. And then he's like, get it, Dad. I'm like, I can't get it. It's like, I'm not going to get in there. And then what am I going to do with it?
It's already gone. It's already broke. Well, some of
Yeah,
these new
it's-
phones are fancy. Like you can throw it in the water and the washer and all these kind of things, and they're fine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
So
know.
go get
I
it.
wasn't getting it.
What
It was a
pond is
gross-
it in? What exclusive
a-
lake are you guys at? Like that nobody.
No,
can
it was
get
just
into?
it was in the lagoon over in Bettendorf. But I'm not getting in that gross water. I'm not doing it. It was
Okay.
nasty.
So you mentioned you took your time cutting grass. Do you normally sprint while cutting grass? Like, what does it mean to take your time cutting
Well,
grass?
like you can edge. You can do all like the little stuff as
Yeah.
opposed to just I got to cut this and it's 9 o'clock at night and I got to get to bed.
No, that
So
makes
it's just
sense.
nice to kind of like enjoy. Did some trimming, trim some bushes. Like it was just great. Felt relaxed.
Did you catch any fish?
Yeah, we caught a couple fish, and we weren't there very long before he dropped his phone into the pond. So then that kind of ruined it for us. Then he was kind of being a pain in the ass after he dropped it in there. So I'm like, all right, let's get the hell out of here.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever jumped? Have you ever gotten your phone wet or ruined your phone?
Oh yeah.
Like how?
Yeah.
Like what's the dumbest way you've done it?
Oh, I think I've dropped it in the toilet before.
Why do you have it out in the bathroom?
I don't know. Just holding on to it, taking a pee, drops in there. That was that was like when I was playing, I think. That was many years ago.
One time it was when my oldest was young, so I only think I had one kid. So God, what a great
I know, and we
life that
thought
was.
we thought it was hard back then, didn't we?
I know. Who was I? I was talking to Gervas yesterday before we did the show, and he was talking about like he's got a 2-year-old and a 7-month-old. And I'm like, dude, just enjoy it. Like you have 2 kids and they don't do anything. And like one of them's not mobile. Like it's so easy.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it. But
Yeah.
I like Charlie was little and I went over to John Marks's. No, I went to a wedding in Milwaukee and Charlie wanted to swim. So I jumped in, we started swimming and everything. And then at the hotel, and I said to Jen, hey, get a picture or some video, whatever. I'm like, my phone's over there. And then like, she's like, it's not over there. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's in my pocket. So phone was done. And then no more than we got back from the I almost said wedding, funeral, whatever, same thing. So Jen goes out of town and I go over to John Marks's house. He's got this huge mansion. You know how those rich people have it. Like they got pool and all that kind of stuff. And
got lost.
same thing. And I think Creepy Tom, Uncle Tommy, Tom Kakert was over with us as well, I think. And which is weird because he didn't have any kids there. He was just over there. No, I'm kidding. But he did the same thing. Jumped in with Charlie and all of a sudden felt my phone. I'm like, so twice in the span of like 5 days, I jumped into a pool with my phone in my pocket. And John Marks wrote an article about it in the paper. I was like, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And he didn't call me out, but he was like a good friend of mine in local TV news that does sports. I'm just like, well, that just might as well like give it away and stuff. Tom Cornellis wasn't jumping into too many pools probably back in the day. So it kind of gave it away and everything. So yeah, some dumb ways to mess up your phone. So, well, it sounds like it was a good weekend for you, man. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, dude, it's great. It's great. It was. I don't know why I signed my kids up for sports because it was so awesome. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
How was yours? I know you probably sat at some baseball games and.
You know what? I got to take my youngest up to Freeport for their tournament, and at Freeport, if you think Freeport, Illinois is like an hour 45 away, whatever. And so we weren't going to get a hotel, but it was like their only overnight hotel kind of chance all year, which is the way it probably should be when you're 8. So we ended up doing it. Yeah. So it's cool when you have 4 kids just to take one and go. So that's what I got to do. And they play, it's that one, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they got a little baseball field there called Wrigley Field or like Little Cubs Field. So we played there and it was a blast. Like my little one he hit home runs twice, which was awesome. Like out of the park. Now they're little. It's a little park. It's not the biggest thing in the world,
still
but
counts.
It was really cool to watch him like run the bases and like, and not every kid did it. So like I was pretty cool with that. So, and then came back and of course I thought Memorial Day we had nothing, but JP Sports' tournament over in the Betplex. Theirs went through Monday, so we did a little bit of that. But other than that, I had a cousin in town. And like we had a little cookout. That was good. Did you guys cook out or do anything fun like that?
Yeah, we grilled. Yeah.
What are you grilling these days? Like what if somebody said Pat's grilling, what's your specialty? Or what do you like to grill?
Whatever my wife says, hey, you got to grill this. So then I just grill it.
Are you?
I don't have a specialty. I just cook the food that my wife tells me to cook.
Are you good at it?
I don't know. I don't know. It tastes fine. I'm not like I don't take it. I'm not one of those guys that like you got to have it at this heat or all that stuff. I'm always like, oh well, this looks good. Let's eat it.
Yeah, I'm not. I used to be like that guy. Like I wanted it medium or well done, like everything. And now like I don't care. Like as long as it's not like just out of the refrigerator and like raw. Like I'll whatever. Like as long as it tastes good, let's go. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what we're getting? Go ahead.
No, I just, a lot of people take their grilling very seriously. And like, it's just like, hey, my wife kind of likes everything burnt. I kind of like everything a little bit more medium, as far as like the steak and stuff go. But like, people just, same thing. Like if it's warm, I'm eating it. You know what I'm saying?
You know what is easy to do? Have you been to Meatheads and gotten their like, pork tenderloins. They're like grilled pork tenderloins. They're
Yeah,
frozen.
yeah.
Literally, all you got to do is put it on the grill, try to burn it, flip it, and try to burn the other side, and it's done. Like you don't have to defrost it. Doesn't have to be. And same thing with go to Costco. They got these burgers in a sleeve. There's like 18 in this, and they're frozen. You just put the frozen burger on the grill. You try to burn it. You flip it to the other side. You try to burn that side, and they're delicious and it's easy. I'm telling you, man. Like
I love that.
people who put too much time and thought into it is like get it in, get it done, get done fast. Do you know that?
Yeah, it's like your love life.
We're getting close to a year from when you became I'm going to say it correctly and not call you the voice of the Hawkeyes because everybody knows Dolph is the voice of the Hawkeyes, the radio analyst for Iowa football. Do you know the date? Just out of curiosity.
No, be around this time.
Yeah,
I guess.
I thought so too. If I wanted to do this correctly, I'd wait probably a week and a half to do it. Maybe not next week, but we're going to do it this week because, quite frankly, I got nothing else to do. But it was June 10th. Yeah, June 10th is when you became. So take me back before I'm going to get your best moments in the booth, but take me back to a year ago right now because you're through the process probably, or you're going through the process of hopefully getting a gig that is pretty cool to get. So like this time of year last year, were there nerves? Were there like excitement? Like what was going on?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of a little bit of both. It was just kind of, just waiting to see if I got the gig, and then when I got it, it was definitely nerves and excitement and terrifying. I mean, you saw me, you knew, like we talked. But yeah, it was a fun year, and went by quick, went by really fast, way faster than I thought it was going to go by.
Who told you got the gig? Who called you and said, "Hey, Pat, we want to offer you this officially"?
It was Gabe.
Okay.
Gabe Aguirre.
Okay.
He called. And then like I want to say even before he called, like it was like all over the internet, which was weird. It was like I think the internet knew before I did.
I do remember something about that.
I remember you texting and being like, did you get it? And I'm like, I don't know,
Well, it's probably I blame Caker. Caker knows everything before everybody else. So
he does.
I just didn't know if like Dolph
Dolph
called you and said, "Pat, come on down," or something like that. Like it was like some big
buddy boy.
Yeah, buddy boy. We need you now more than ever. So all right, so you got through a year and you didn't do anything stupid, and I knew you wouldn't. I told people that. People were like, "Man, better be careful. Pat's gonna say so." And like you're not like Coach Farron said, you're pretty calculated. You might be a big dumb animal, but you're a pretty calculated big dumb animal where you know where to pick your spots.
Thanks.
Can you give me your top three moments from the booth? And they don't have to be like plays on the field. Like I want them from your perspective. You know what I mean? Not like the best 3 moments of Iowa football last fall. I want like in your eyes, what were like your favorite 3 moments in the booth with Dolph, with Corey, all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Go 3 to 1. Go 3 to 1. If you can.
I got to go in order?
Well, just do the best one last is all I'm asking.
Okay. Well, when Seth came in, the pilot that did the flyover, and we kind of we hadn't really had a breakout game yet. It was versus Washington, I want to say, and super huge Iowa fan. He was really excited. And then he came in the booth and we started scoring. And I think we scored like 3 times while he was in the booth, and it was just the excitement that he had. There's a video of it. Like it was super cool. To have it in there, huge Iowa fan. That was fun. And then, obviously when my man, Joe Glazer got smoked and cut the greatest promo, of all time, like that was really cool. And that was something to where Dolph was like, we were trying to figure out what happened. And Corey was like, hey, he really did get hit in the face. And, Dolph called down to, Brooks and Brooksy, and he's like, hey dude, you got to interview him. And Brooksy, just asked a simple question, let Joe roll with it. And, it was just beautiful. It was absolute gold. Like couldn't have scripted it better. And it was something that like nobody, we weren't doing it to get this big, promo. It was just, it was beautifully put. It was very organic. And then I would say, honestly, my favorite one, it was the Heroes game versus Nebraska, when we were honoring Dan Marburger. Just a very emotional game, and then it ends on that walk-off field goal. Like that was really special. That was a really special night. And obviously, Dan Marburger, an absolute hero and a legend, and to be able to win like that on a night that we were honoring him was pretty cool.
The thing I had learned pretty quick in TV was some of the best moments aren't scripted, if that makes sense. Like, you don't expect them. You can sit there and go through your rundown and things you're going to hit and Pat's keys to the game and all that kind of stuff. But like, it's
Keys
the stuff
to the game, which are the same every freaking week.
I was going to say, you might
defense.
need to mix it up. It's like, if Iowa scores more points than their opponent, I think they're going to do well today.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, no, come on, figure it out.
Yep.
We'll work on that. But did you find, when did you learn that like some of the fun stuff doing live broadcasts, whether it's TV, radio, or everything, which actually you guys are doing TV because there's a YouTube feed going on and everybody can watch it the entire time. So when did you realize that like it's not about what's out there as much as it's some of the best stuff's going to be like organically done in the booth or off the field itself?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know when I really realized it, but I mean, you kind of learn pretty early that it's almost like an improv. It really is. I mean, it's almost just like an improv thing, and you're sitting there and you're talking, and you just the game's gonna happen, and you've gotta roll with it, and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, obviously, when I talked to you initially when I was going through the interview, and and you were. And I had this script written down. I had all this stuff, and you were like, dude, just be yourself. Don't write anything down. And that was kind of a time where it was kind of like a big turning point. And I'm assuming you probably asked that question so I could give you some props.
No, I didn't. I just think it's like the one of the a good example for us was we did the grilling segment and the guest griller over at the TV station and
at the old place.
Yeah, should I say the WQAD?
Are they still in business?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're doing okay. I don't know if they were doing okay when I was there, so I shouldn't get that. No, anyways, Julian set the grill on fire.
Yeah.
Like flat out, I guess, and I should have known better because he's like, I'm going to make a bison burger and I'm going to make some bacon. Well, I just assumed like he had made the bacon ahead of time. And like, no, he was making the bacon on the grill. And you may not be a grilling professional, as we just talked about, but bacon grease is very highly flammable.
Yeah, I don't think I would do that.
Yeah, but like it set, and like he was horrified. And he's like, we got to the break and he's like, I'm so sorry. And I looked at my phone and it was just blowing up. And I'm like,
but people loved it.
Yeah, thank you for this. Like some of the best stuff. If you can be self-deprecating and like have fun with stuff, nailed it. Like that's the kind of the best, and that's the stuff with the guy getting hit with the football or those kind of things. And then like I want to go back to the flyover guy because like anytime somebody brings that kind of energy and like it's contagious, isn't it? Like that somebody's so excited about like Iowa football and being in the booth and like that kind of stuff is extremely contagious.
Oh, dude, 100%, 100%. And it's just the enthusiasm. And then the game like really took off. Like once you started interviewing him, I want to say like right away we scored. And then we were getting ready to get done with the interview. And we're like, all right, well, let's just have you on here and we'll talk about the punt return. And then Weegan freaking breaks one in the end zone. Like it was so perfect. And it was so cool. And he was so excited. And it was fun to have him up there because you think about that guy, like he's done amazing things, like obviously in the air and as a pilot done so many incredible things, and like that was a huge moment for him, even though like he's done a million things that are so much better and so much cooler, but like that sitting there right there in the booth and just chatting, like that was a huge moment for him, and I'm glad that he got to experience that.
I know I've asked you this before, but when were you, because I was just talking to somebody yesterday about how I've never seen you, not you, when it comes to like, just like you were, I went up to the booth and got video for the news of like Pat, just a little VO, Pat getting ready to do a call his first game. And like you were like in a zone and it wasn't like a comfort zone. When did you get comfortable? We were just talking to somebody the other day. I felt like, and I started listening more throughout the season, and I legit do the thing where you put And I always listen to people say like, I listen to the radio and I watch it on TV. I'm like, no, you don't. Nobody does that. But like I did that and it's good. But like I could tell when you kind of got comfortable. When did you feel that you got comfortable doing what you were doing?
I would say it probably took me a couple of games. I would say at least after the Iowa State game. I mean, you gradually, like really the first game, I didn't even know how it worked. Like I didn't know anything because we didn't do any practices.
You can't.
So I didn't even know the process of the whole thing, like when they take breaks and all that stuff. No idea. So that it was nice to get that first one out of the way. And then the second one was the Iowa State one, and that was kind of an emotional one. And then just kind of it felt definitely more comfortable, and I felt like I got a little bit better, as the season went on, a little bit more comfortable. But then you don't want to get too comfortable because then you start forgetting that people are actually listening, and some things might slip. So you just kind of want to have a little bit of nervousness.
Did you get any big criticism? What's the meanest thing somebody ever said or sent, or did you see any criticism at all? I didn't see a ton of it.
No, I mean, honestly, I didn't go searching for it. But I'm assuming if people had criticism, I'm sure it was warranted,
What was
I'm
it?
sure there's
Don't
stuff.
be that. No, it wasn't.
I don't know. I'm sure there was stuff.
Some dude that's flipping burgers shouldn't sit there and critique a guy who's never done what you do, doing it for the first time in front of thousands of people for Iowa football. They just shouldn't.
Yeah, well, it's part of it. So yeah, I've been booed in front of 70,000 people before. I've missed tackles. I've given up touchdowns in front of millions of people. Like somebody says I suck at something, like, hey, yeah, I probably do.
Did you curse at all or come close to it? Obviously you didn't, but was there any point where you're like, ooh, I just said that and I'm worried I might get in trouble after the show or after the game? You don't have to be specific, but if you want to, that's cool.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was a game where we were, and I can't remember if it was Nebraska or if it was Washington, or it might have, I don't know, where we were defensively, we were given a move call, which like before the snap, the middle linebacker says move, and then the D lineman moves laterally, like and they were calling us, they were calling a penalty on us for that. And that's not like, you can't do that. They were saying that we were trying to get them jump off sides, and that really made me angry. And I think they called it twice. So yeah, I almost swore.
I remember that. I remember you were like, it wasn't like Pat like calling the game. You were angry. You're like, no, that is not correct. That is not right. And I was like, get it, Pat. Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, And the thing is, it's like we should be able to do whatever we want on defense anyway. The offense knows when the ball's going to be hiked. It's not our fault if they jump off sides.
Yeah.
Or if they false start.
It's an offensive game, Pat. I'm telling you. All those offensive pretty boys get all the good stuff. Okay, a couple things before I wrap up and let you go. We got to let you go. I want to wrap up a couple. So, Jake was on yesterday, Gervais. He apologizes for not being with us for the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf outing.
Yeah.
Are we good with it?
No, not really.
And he claims we didn't cheat. This is legit from the show yesterday. You should really watch. He said we didn't cheat. You tried to, but he, being a good assumption kid, I think the exact quote was overcame the Bettendorf BS, is what he said.
Yeah, no, I cheated. He just didn't know about it.
Shh. So people are listening. So I want people to come to the outing. How did you cheat? We didn't cheat.
I don't know.
It's not our fault that we're really good at golf. Obviously, anybody who watches me golf knows that I would easily win an event.
You know what's funny? Like, what were we? What did we finish? We're like 15 under?
No,
something?
more than that. It was stupid. We cheated.
Because I golf. But then again, you can roll the dice and get a one. We got a 1 on a par 5s.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I've golfed, like I was a couple weeks ago, golfed like really well with a group. And like we were like 9 under. And then I'm thinking, like, how in the hell were we like?
I think we were like 19 under. I'm not even kidding. So, but here's the thing, like, just full disclosure, we started on 1 and we made a birdie. It was a legit birdie because I was sober at this point.
And we rolled a 1.
We rolled a 1
on a par 5.
And then
so it's like
the very next hole is the par 3 out of Highland, a par 4, excuse me.
Par
but
4,
it's
short par 4.
Thank you. And you drove the green,
Of course.
which it wasn't a big deal. It was like it's like 295. You got a good bounce, and you're there.
It was a big deal.
And so you drove the green. We went over and got snoops when you're not supposed to, because you're only supposed to get on 7. But if you're on 3, you can sneak up over that valley and get some snoops. And then we knocked in an eagle putt, and we were 7 under through 3 holes.
Yep.
1, 4, 5. Yeah, 7. We were 7 under through 4, and like that was as legit as can be. But it wasn't. Some good golf, but the dice helps out a bunch. So
The dice is huge.
yeah. So and we make sure we roll a 1. If you got to roll it a couple times, we roll it a couple times. So
Yeah.
that, and there was okay. So I do want to do the joke swap with you. We were going to do it this week. I've got some written. Do you have 3 written?
I had them written like 20 minutes after we got done talking about it last time.
Okay. So we're going to do it. I swear we're going to do it next week. I need to get mine.
We need a
approved.
middleman. We need a middleman.
It's got to be.
We need
It's
a
got to be
middleman.
Joe, right?
I don't know. Joe's got other things to do, I think.
Are you worried that Joe won't let us have any fun?
Correct.
So who's the middleman?
I think it's got to be Tom.
Fick?
It's got to be Tom.
No, I don't think that will
No.
work either. Okay, so we'll send him to Tom Kakert, and we'll have him make
Yep.
sure it's okay, and then we'll do it next week as well. So,
I love it.
it's going to be the best thing ever. So, are you excited for your kids to get out of school? Does it affect you at all?
Just when my wife's working, it's tough. Sometimes I'll have to go help, but yeah, I'm not excited for them to be home from school.
No. Hey,
Not
try
excited. I know you have somebody that's working from home. That's tough.
working from home.
Yeah.
I just need them to be quiet and stay off the internet, because sometimes the internet can get funky. So it's like I don't need 4 kids on like 8 different devices and all that kind of stuff. So we'll make it work. So all right, joke swap next week. And also, if people are wondering and out there, I said it yesterday, we have 34 teams signed up for the Guy Randazzo. I don't know if I did that right. 34. So, if we have 2 teams that we can sneak in there. So if you're interested in golfing, GuyRandazzoGolf.com. Pat doesn't cheat. I don't cheat. It's going to be good. So, all right,
We
friend.
only cheat on our taxes.
Yes, and obviously you're why. Never mind. Anyways, with on that, let's not leave like that. Let's not leave like that.
How could you do that? How could you do that?
Do what? I didn't say anything. It didn't come. And you wouldn't. Obviously, we're both very blessed. So, all right,
We're
Patrick,
ugly.
behave yourself.
Love you.
All right, see you,
Hey,
buddy.
buddy.
All right, that is the one and only Pat Anger joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday instead of a Monday. So we only got 5 more days until we get to. Actually, it'll be next. I got to talk to him. We'll figure it out. But I don't know if there's going to be a show next Monday. Next Monday is the John Deere Classic Media Day, so I'm going to sneak out to that. So, anyways, next week we will do our joke swap with the one and only Pat Anger. So, we got more to get to coming up after the break. United Township Athletic Director Mark Pustelnik, Bam Pustelnik, will be retiring here very, very soon. He's going to join us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Wednesday right here in the Quad Cities. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Saturday night, June 14th, the Steamwheelers face off against the Freight in an IFL battle that's going to rock the vibrant arena. And it's Digital Bobblehead Night, presented by XUSD Blockchain. All fans in attendance with an active MetaMask digital wallet will score a limited edition Steamwheelers NFT bobblehead, a one-of-a-kind collectible you can't get anywhere else. High-flying IFL action and digital collectibles? Now that's next-level game night. Grab your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets.
The PGA Tour swings into the Quad Cities again this summer, and you don't want to miss it. The John Deere Classic brings golf, music, magic, and more to TPC Deer Run, July 2nd through the 6th. Wednesday, July 2nd is Youth Day, and ages 15 and under are free all week, making it perfect for the whole family. Stick around after the Golf on the Weekend for the concerts on the Course Series, featuring country superstar Dierks Bentley on Saturday, and Grammy Award-winning Zac Brown Band on Sunday. Come for the golf, stay for the party. Visit JohnDeereClassic.com to get your tickets before they sell out.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home. dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Saturday night, June 14th, the Steamwheelers face off against the Parade in an IFL battle that's going to rock the vibrant arena. And it's digital bobblehead night presented by XUSD Blockchain. All fans in attendance with an active MetaMask digital wallet will score a limited edition Steamwheelers NFT bobblehead. A one-of-a-kind collectible you can't get anywhere else. High-flying IFL action and digital collectibles? Now that's next level game night. Grab your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets.
The PGA Tour swings into the Quad Cities again this summer, and you don't want to miss it. The John Deere Classic brings golf, music, magic, and more to TPC Deer Run, July 2nd through the 6th. Wednesday, July 2nd is Youth Day, and ages 15 and under are free all week, making it perfect for the whole family. Stick around after the golf on the weekend for the concerts on the Course Series, featuring country superstar Dierks Bentley on Saturday, and Grammy Award-winning Zac Brown Band on Sunday. Come for the golf, stay for the party. Visit JohnDeereClassic.com to get your tickets before they sell out.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. A really long commercial break means that we were dealing with technology, but we have survived. We have conquered it, and I'm super excited to welcome my next guest, somebody who knows a lot about United Township athletics. Mark Pustelnik joining me right now. Coach, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Wonderful. How are you?
Not too bad. And yourself?
I'm good. Thank you for doing this. We appreciate it.
It's an honor to be able to be on your podcast. That's for sure.
I appreciate you saying that. It's funny because you think of United Township athletics and you're one of those people that automatically come to mind. You're getting ready to retire, you old man. You don't look that old. What's this last?
No, I feel it.
What's this last month? Maybe last week. When is the final day, and kind of what's this last year and last couple months and weeks been like for you?
The actual end date is the end of June. As far as events and activities, we were hosting IHSA regional softball this week, so we got to get through that and hopefully move on and keep advancing in these, spring sports. I'd like my job to keep going as long as possible because of that. But yeah, basically, the end of this week, it's definitely going to slow down, and next week there'll be a lot of moving my stuff out of the office to make room for that Mr. Harding guy that's going to take my place, and so a few weeks pretty much.
We'll talk about that knucklehead in a second because I'm concerned, but we'll get to him. I want to start with because Bam, this is what you've known. You have been synonymous with United Township and athletics there your whole life. I won't go back. I don't want to say too long. I don't want to age you too much, but your wrestling days, and obviously it started before you got to high school with your success in wrestling, but state championship when you were a junior, second place finish when you were a senior. What did that place in wrestling and being part of that program mean to you at such a young age?
It meant everything. That second place my senior year still haunts me. Probably one of my worst losses that I can remember. But I grew up at a United Township High School, a Panther fan. My dad taught here his entire life pretty much as well. So even at the age of 6, 7, I was coming here watching wrestling meets, watching basketball games. We'd fill the Panther den on a Friday night. That's what my family did. And it was exciting. If we were lucky, we got McDonald's before the game, because that's what we could afford. But my parents were a big part of my life, and UT was a big part of their life. So it just came together. So as soon as I went off to college and became a Panther at Northern Iowa, my goal and my dreams was to come back to UTHS.
You got to do that. You mentioned that. I know we're not going to harp on that senior year thing, but you look at the record books at United Township High School, and you grew up wanting to be a Panther. What did it mean to you to be a Panther, to do the things you did at United Township, to experience the success that you experienced there as a wrestler? What did that mean to you, thinking back to those days?
Everything. I talk to people, and my most memorable memory of wrestling was winning the state title, because I had my friends here and all my UTHS family watching me. Winning the U.S. Open, I had my mom and dad there, and it was special, but a totally different type of special. Like I said, when I came back here, I wanted to give back to what I received here. I wanted the crowds. I wanted the excitement. I wanted kids to when they left United Township High School to believe in the saying, once a Panther, always a Panther. And I think a lot of our kids do.
You got to experience the success as a Panther, and a lot of people, and maybe the younger people, think of you as the UT athletic director, and I don't think they know the history of what was it about that sport and wrestling. And you've watched your own kids grow up and do different sports, and heck, your son's going to play basketball at Blackhawk. So he's not a wrestler; he's a basketball player. What
Correct.
was it about that sport of wrestling that you loved, that was just what you wanted to do and wanted to be as such a young kid?
I'm not sure. I was always kind of, I was a decent athlete. I loved sports. I had a lot of energy. My dad taught next door to Bert Hanlon. They both were health teachers at the high school, and Bert Hanlon was the, Hall of Fame wrestling coach here at the time. And he got me introduced to it in 3rd grade. I was about 9 years old. And, first couple of weeks didn't go well. I got pinned my first time by a kid from Rock Island, Chris Ellis. I still remember his name to this day.
Oh, wow.
But it started clicking, and about 3 weeks later, I beat him at a tournament in Sterling. I have a lot of memory of wrestling. Like, that's probably why I don't remember a lot of other things in my life. But yeah, so and it just started clicking, and I started having some early success, and I think that probably motivated me more. But I loved the one-on-one matchups. I loved that no one controlled my destiny except myself. That when I went on that mat, whether I won and got congratulated, or I embarrassed myself and got humiliated, like I've had happen to me many times, it was my fault. I couldn't point the finger. I couldn't blame anybody else, and I liked that.
Yeah. No, and you had a lot of success with it. You went on to UNI and had success on the national level for so long. And you mentioned coming back to United Township. You came back and correct me if I'm wrong, like around early 2000s? Was it like 2005, 2007, something like that? That you got back to United Township?
Quite a bit earlier.
No, 1994. Yeah, 1994.
Yes.
Yeah,
yep, there you go.
I'm thinking you're younger than actually what you are, Bam. My fault. No, what you get to come back in the 90s, in the mid 90s, and you just mentioned you wanted to always get back to United Township. What was that decision like, and what did it mean to get back to your alma mater and kind of pick things up where you left off?
It was special, and it was a tough decision. I got hired my first year. Harry Hunt, who was the principal at Sherrard, called me up and offered me a job right out of college. Well, not right out of college. I stayed on in college and trained for a little bit for the Olympics, and was an assistant coach there for a year. And after I fell short of Olympic trials, I called him back and accepted the job at Sherrard. And not too many people know I taught at Sherrard and coached the junior high there for 1 year.
Oh.
And then that following year, a health position opened up at the high school. And as much as I did enjoy Sherrard, because it was a fabulous school district, love the kids and the parents out there. I knew I needed to come, so it wasn't that big of a decision.
You get back to United Township and you pick things up with the wrestling. Once again, goes hand in foot with what you do. What was it like being back in that building, being back into I mean, it hadn't been that long removed, but obviously you knew what success looked like at United Township, and you had a lot of it as a head coach as well. And those are the kind of the years I start remembering covering you in the early 2000s. I think you won 5, 6, something like that, Western Big Six titles in a row. 7?
7.
Okay, gotcha. I gotcha.
Yeah, or tied. We had a tie in there too.
There you go. A claim of at least a share of it. What was it like having success as a coach instead of as the athlete on the mat?
It felt really good. I was hired as a health teacher originally, and then I volunteered for a year as a wrestling coach to the late Harry Arvanis, and then he had decided to step down, and I took over. And I had some growing pains as a coach. No matter how good of an athlete or that you think you might have been, coaching is totally different. Learning how to relate to the kids and learning how to coach kids differently. You can't coach kids the same. I had a lot of learning to do. I was hard on a lot of my kids early on because that's what I enjoyed. That's what I liked as a competitor. A coach right in my face, telling me what to do. But I realized early on that doesn't work for a lot of kids, that they need to be, more positive reinforcement and just not so much like just do it attitude. So that was a big adjustment, and it took me a few years to figure that out. And I've apologized to some of those kids I was a little hard on early on. But things started to click there, and we had the school down the street, who was one of my best friends at that time, still is. He was my coach in the corner when I won state, Todd Rosenthal. I had to get through and battle Moline for years, and that was tough because they were in their height of glory at that time and had won a state title and placed a couple times. And we got second in the Big Six time after again to them, and it just burned. But eventually we beat them and then went on to win, 7 straight after that. But yeah, getting second like 6 years in a row, I believe, before that was not fun.
Who's a better wrestler, you or Todd Rosenthal?
Well, in high school, he beat me up a lot, and I didn't like it. And I went to college and I came back, and after the first time I wrestled, he goes, "Yeah, we're not getting." I go, "Enough beatings that I got to give to you." And so he's like, "No, it's not good." But he's a big part of my, not even in high school, but in Greco-Roman and all of that. So yeah, he wouldn't wrestle me too many after that, but it was a lesson learned being Lambros, Photos, and that were pretty darn good themselves. Lamb was a state champion. LaParis was a all-state wrestler, and they both wrestled at Illinois. And I learned early on that they would come back, and our live wrestling matches would be very short-lived.
Yeah.
And then I'd try to get the better of them, and then I'd stop, and let's keep going. I'm like, no, I'm good.
Who's the better athletic director, you or Todd Rosenthal?
Oh, well, I can't really say myself because Todd did an excellent job at Moline. And
he did.
I think when you come in as an athletic director, a lot depends on, what the availability is of being great. I was fortunate enough to have an administration that backed me. Our administration is incredible with, starting with Superintendent, Jay Morrow to Matt Wright to Kai Killam, and all the administrators, they're sports oriented. So I was able to, work with them in putting the bowl together and getting the turf and redoing the gyms and all that. Like, I had that opportunity because of them. So they, if they didn't have that, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So yeah. I think a lot of times, being a great athletic director, depends on who you work with,
sure.
And what options and availability you have to make the programs better. And I was fortunate enough to be able to have that success, that luck.
Bam Pustelnik joining us right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. Bam, I want to talk about the athletic director years in a second, but a little bit more with, you mentioned Lambros Photos. And that's somebody that in my 25-year career, when you start cherry picking like great athletes that I got to cover and do stories on, Lambros is right there. Just your experience with him, your thoughts with him, and obviously things are different from being a wrestler yourself to being a coach. What did you see in him, and kind of talk about those years, because really special years over at the Panther Den.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the Photos family is an incredible family, very tight knit. Lamb started very young age. My dad used to pick him up and take him to the wrestling club when he needed a ride, and they built a strong relationship as well. But I knew Lamb was special at a very young age, partially because he was, fifth grade and looked like he was a freshman in high school already, physically, even though he was small. But I knew he had a special gift, and so getting him at the high school was a blessing. Like I had said, his brother was an all-state wrestler for me, and then Lamb came in his freshman year, and Lamb was good enough to win 4 state titles. He really was. He's still the only big school 4-class all-stater in the Quad Cities history. We've never had one besides him. Matt Lackey would have been, but he got injured his junior year, and that kept him from being all-state that year. But he was special, and him winning a state title his senior year is probably my most memorable memory as a coach, just because I know the time and the effort he put into it. And he fell short 3 years in a row. So him winning it his senior year was pretty special. And I wish he would have had a better college career. He had a few ACL surgeries, tore it back to back to back. So his college career obviously ended a little bit short and premature than it should have. But I would like to have seen how he done, because he's definitely a special athlete.
What was the difference, or what made you make the decision to go from wrestling coach to athletic director, and that journey? Because obviously it kind of takes you away from the sport you love, but it keeps you really involved in sports at a school you love. Kind of talk about the decision to make that transition to eventually become an athletic director.
Yeah, it was a tough decision. I went through a divorce at that time, and I wanted to spend more time with my kids. That was a big part of it. You with kids in athletics and everything, you understand that, obviously. So that was part of the decision, and I happened to have the assistant principal job, dean of students, that had opened up at the high school. So I decided to take that position and wrestling coach after 13, 14 years. Like any good coach, whether it's baseball, basketball, wrestling, it's a 12-month season. There isn't a break. I mean, your break is still a 2-hour open gym 5 days a week, and you have to make that available. So that was getting tiresome. And like I said, my kids were getting older, and I wanted to spend more time with them and their athletics. So I decided to retire from coaching at that point and take the assistant principal dean's job, and stayed in that position for about 9 years until the athletic director job opened up.
You look at the athletic director job, and I know I'm going to give you some credit, and you're going to be modest, and I get that, and it's a great administration over there, but things are good at United Township High School. The Soul Bowl is a hidden gem, one of the best stadiums in the entire area, and it's had improvement after improvement after improvement. The Panther Den looks awesome, but I look at coaches. And some of the best coaches in high school athletics in our area reside in that building. And I hope none of those idiots listen to this, because I don't like being nice to them. So hopefully they don't hear that. But from top to bottom, from the Nick Welch's, to the Andy Says, to I can go on and on. Baseball's fantastic right now. Softball's doing great. Talk about because you can only do so much. And hiring the right people for the right sports. And I know you're not the only one doing it, but that's a huge part of things. And you guys have hit some home runs of late.
We really have. And again, I'll go back to our administration working with me and getting some of the guys that we've gotten and the gals that we've gotten in. And I agree with you. I think our staff, I would put our staff up against any staff in the state, for that matter, in terms of, everyone from, tennis all the way down, all the way to football or whatever it might be. I'm very proud of the staff that we have here. I can't take credit for it all. That's for sure. But yeah, we got an incredible staff, and, talking to Scott Harding coming in, we've had a lot of meetings, him and I, and that's the one thing he, brought to mention as well is, that he has one of the better staffs that he's coming into, and it's very true. We got a great group of coaches, and it's showing. Our sports are starting to pick up. The last 2 years, that team down the street leads with 10 Big Six titles, and we're in second with 9, in the conference. So I'm proud of that, and that goes to the coaches and the kids.
No, it's and the facilities look great and all of those kind of things as well. It's a good time to be a Panther. Do you have a memory? I'm going to ask you memories from 3 different eras. Your biggest memory as a wrestler at United Township would be what?
Winning state my junior year with everybody, all my friends and family there. That was definitely
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, your biggest memory
it's your podcast.
No, it's my. Hey, your biggest memory as a coach. What moment stands out the most as a wrestling coach?
Boy, every all-state wrestler was special. Fotis, Jason Cummins, and the other Fotises, and they were special. Firsts are always a big thing. Our first Big Six title, because I know how much time our kids and their parents put into it. I had a great group of parents too. The Kerrs and the Donnellys and the Myers and the Ashcrafts. They put a lot of time into their kids and the Fotises, and winning that first Big Six title and breaking that streak of Moline winning it was pretty special. And you got to go with Lamb winning the state title, the first state champion in school history since me. So that was pretty special.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Anything stand out as an athletic director, whether it's an opening of a facility or a moment in an athletic event, or, is there something that stands out athletic director wise that you're like, that was pretty cool?
Yeah, there's been a few. I mean, the run our boys basketball team made in 2016, getting to the Elite Eight, selling out, house when we played Rocky in a triple overtime game and winning that one. But I think more importantly with that was the community backing. It was insane. And I've never seen anything like it. Even as a kid, even when we had all those years of good basketball with the Hunters and the Officers way back when you're going down to Collinsville and you have, 8 fan buses and 4 charter buses and Illinois State, and everybody you pass on the road is the UT fan with stuff on their cars all the way down to Normal. It was pretty incredible. I know, talking with the IHSA, we played in the Elite Eight. We played Chicago Simeon, and we had probably 2,500, 3,000 fans that filled one side all in white shirts, and Simeon had about 10 fans. And the IHSA kind of looked at me and goes, I can't really say this, but boy, I hope UT wins, because they knew it was a money thing, and
yeah.
That was a pretty special memory. But like I said, the first two, girls basketball winning the Big Six last year for the first time in a while, and our boys and girls soccer program and baseball and softball. And, one of our, unspoken, our girls track team won the Big Six last year for the first time since I believe 75. And, track wins it every year, boys. Incredible group of kids and coaching staff there. Evan Holzbach is a phenomenal coach. And hopefully this weekend we have another state champion, Michael Pomasi. He's the best shot put thrower in the state, hands down. He's just got to throw it together this weekend. So that would be a nice going away present, so to speak.
No kidding. No pressure, Michael, if you're listening to this. No pressure at all. But
I won't have him watch this until after that.
And he is as good as they get. Bam Pustelnik joining us. A few more before I let you go. What's next? What does life look like? What is July 2nd? What is July 15th? What does July and August look like for yourself as you enter the world of retirement?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest with you. It's definitely going to be, new territory. Not setting my alarm is going to be weird, and just waking up when I feel like it. And, I want to get back into working out with an athletic director schedule. It's hard, as you know. We've talked about this, you and I. It's 60-hour weeks, 70-hour weeks, work weeks, and it's hard to get into a routine because everything's different. So getting into a routine, it would definitely. I'd love to do some traveling. I have good friends that have places in Florida, and I go and visit them. And I like to camp now, out in Timberlake and Mount Carroll, and I enjoy that with friends out there. I definitely am going to have to do something. I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking about doing a podcast, on athletics. I think there was a guy that started that. No, I'm kidding.
No.
I couldn't match you, so I would
You
never
should.
do that.
No, you
No,
talk about
no.
wrestling and you'd be all over it. I'm telling you.
No, I got a voice for radio, so I think I'd have to go radio first, But no, I'd like to do something, but I don't want to be tied down. I don't want a 40-hour a week job. I don't need that, but I definitely would like to stay busy and do something, a few days a week.
All right. So between you and me, nobody's listening. Is this whole Scott Herding thing a legit thing? Like, people have been telling me all year, you guys are at this height. Like you just mentioned, UT right on the heels of Moline and Western Big Six championships. Are we going to really hand this thing over to Scott Herding, that knucklehead? Really?
We are. And, I gotta be honest. He's a great replacement. He really is. Him and I, it's funny because even when I coached wrestling and he coached, girls basketball here for a while, and he was assistant for the boys basketball on that 2016 team, coached baseball and won a Big Six title. He's got a mind for sports. And ever since, like I said, 25 years ago, him and I would always talk to one another about our philosophies and work ethic and our values and morals towards athletics. And we've always been on the same philosophy and the same page. And so I think him coming in and taking my place is not going to be much of a change. I think he's got some great ideas that he wants to incorporate that will make the programs better. And I'm excited to see that. But no, we're not going to miss a beat with him coming in and taking my spot. That's for sure. He's definitely capable of it, and he's excited. I'm sure the coaches are excited because change is good. It definitely is. This is one that he's going to do a great job.
No, he's going to do a fantastic job. I give all the coaches that come on here a hard time trying to stop it, but he's
no.
As
You
good
can
as they get.
You can delete that part if he watches it.
Yeah, we don't need his head to get any bigger. I don't think that. I'm just curious if he's the athletic director, who's going to stand around and drink coffee all the time? Because that's all I ever see him do there. So I'm curious who's going to fill his current role of coffee drinker when he's actually got to do some work.
We got some people that might take his place. The new guy coming in, Logan Wynn, is going to work the athletic PE program. I don't know if he's a coffee drinker or not, but I'm pretty sure with Welch and Say and Whiteman and Pevy and all them guys hanging around the PE office and everything, they'll be able to take his place pretty easily.
Mark, I'll tell you this, and I won't get those guys in trouble, but I came over there for a job fair a couple years ago, and I got to hang out in the PE office, and I wanted to stay in the PE office forever. Like it's a fun place. It's a bunch of good dudes that love to talk and BS and have a good time. And you guys got a great thing going there at United Township High School. So I want to thank you for everything as well, because doing what I got to do and continuing to do for as long as I did, like it's about athletic directors, and it's not always as easy as it looks. And you got the concept of like putting your kids first, putting your kids on a stage, highlighting them, giving them the spotlight, and the ability to call you and say, hey, we want to go live from the Soul Bowl. And you're like, absolutely. Those kind of things meant the world to me. Interviews, all that kind of stuff as well. So you're one of the best in the business. We appreciate it. You will be missed, despite what you may think. You will be missed, not just in that building, but by the media as well. Enjoy retirement. I know you ain't going anywhere, so I'll be bugging you a lot real soon.
Well, I appreciate that. And, as far as, your compliments, I was able to do those things and get the press and get people like, get the publicity out there because of the Quad Cities and our news media and, and our social media. And we've said it time and time again, like the Quad Cities has always had the best, promotion of athletics of any area that I've ever been to. And it's because of our news stations and our papers back, when they ran them a lot differently with Johnny Marks and those guys all the way back then. But but yeah, you guys have done a fabulous job, and it's great in promoting high school athletics.
It's a special area. I always used to say, Bam, it's just an honor to cover it because I grew up in it. I grew up watching it, and to be able to continue to do it was awesome. So, behave yourself. Get back to your nap. I think Coach Say told me you usually nap around like 11, so I'm keeping you probably from your nap. Or was it Welch? One of those guys were telling me you like to nap a lot. So, no, I'm kidding. I appreciate you.
You know, I'm still trying to figure out what Say does here because I've never seen in a classroom. So I'm still trying to figure that out.
Hey,
maybe next year I'll come in here and follow 8 hours to see what he actually does.
He starts my show every day by making fun of me, and then he probably goes to take a nap. So he's a good dude. So Bam, I appreciate you. Best of luck in retirement, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. That is Mark Bam Pustelnik, one of the best wrestlers you're ever going to see, one of the best wrestling coaches you're ever going to see, and one of the best athletic directors you're ever going to deal with as well. So we wish him the best in his retirement. And also, I got to give him some credit because we had a little technical stuff and he navigated through it like a young man. So well done on his part as well. So we got more to get to. It is Wednesday, which means it's Steamwheeler Wednesday. We got more with the Wheelers coming up right after this. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Wednesday right here in the Quad Cities. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Saturday night, June 14th, the Steamwheelers face off against the Parade in an IFL battle that's going to rock the vibrant arena. And it's Digital Bobblehead Night, presented by XUSD Blockchain. All fans in attendance with an active MetaMask digital wallet will score a limited edition Steamwheelers NFT bobblehead, a one-of-a-kind collectible you can't get anywhere else. High-flying IFL action and digital collectibles? Now that's next-level game night. Grab your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets.
The PGA Tour swings into the Quad Cities again this summer, and you don't want to miss it. The John Deere Classic brings golf, music, magic, and more to TPC Deer Run July 2nd through the 6th. Wednesday, July 2nd is Youth Day, and ages 15 and under are free all week, making it perfect for the whole family. Stick around after the golf on the weekend for the concerts on the Course Series, featuring country superstar Dierks Bentley on Saturday and Grammy Award-winning Zach Brown Band on Sunday. Come for the golf, stay for the party. Visit JohnDeereClassic.com to get your tickets before they sell out.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. A cloudy rainy-ish Wednesday. I can't tell from my beautiful office here in the Randazzo estate and the loft up here what the temperature actually looks like outside, but or the weather is. But a good day to be inside, good day to be checking out Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We appreciate you guys who have listened so far, watched so far today. Of course, we started things off with the one and only Pat Angerer. It was great to catch up with Mark Bam Pustelnik a short time ago, talk about him getting ready to retire after a long time, an entire lifetime at United Township High School, which is a beautiful thing. But as we know, it is Wednesday, and Wednesdays are Steamwheeler Wednesday, so we're lucky enough to be welcomed by the assistant coach of the Quad City Steamwheelers, offensive line coach Wes Baskovic. Thank you, Coach, so much for joining us. I appreciate it. I know things are busy. When do you guys leave for Tulsa? It's got to be pretty soon, isn't it?
Yeah, we actually leave tonight at 11:30
okay.
from the arena.
Gotcha. So a little late night, a little overnight travel down to Tulsa. Before we get talking about this week and this game, take me through the bye week, because it's always good to get a week off. Winning, losing, winning streak, losing streak, all that kind of stuff. What do you feel like your players and the players got out of a week off to reset mentally, physically, whatever it may be?
So, yeah, the bye week was really great. I think the guys really enjoyed the time off. I know that the coaching staff did. We got to play a little golf when it didn't rain, obviously like today. But really the sense of practice on Monday was really great. There was a sense of urgency there. Guys had some fresh legs. They were just really getting after it. We've really had a good week of practice. We're going to finish that up tonight at 8 o'clock before we leave. And we're just really excited about this game in Tulsa on Friday.
Absolutely. Yeah, a week off and getting ready to play a team that just came in and beat you the last game at the Vibrant Arena. But before we talk about that, I want to look at, like, it was the halfway point. And if you would have said to you, hey, you're 6-2 at the bye, probably before the season, you would have taken it. What's this first half of the season been like? Because there was that 6-game winning streak and so much success early. I know you've had to battle through injuries and all those kind of things, but at the halfway mark to be 6-2, there's a lot to be excited about if you're the Quad City Steamwheelers, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a really great season. We have a lot of great players on this team, a lot of selfless leaders, a lot of we guys versus me guys, no personal agendas, no one really worried about their own individual accolades. That really builds a championship caliber team, because when you have character guys like the guys that we have on this team that are policing each other from within, really championship teams are player led, and that's the nucleus of our leadership group, our captain group, and just basically every single guy on this team. I'd be lying to you if I would say that I'm satisfied with 6-2. I really believe that we should be 8-0 right now. But after week 6, we definitely did face some adversity with the QB1 going down, and I'm sure you've probably heard about Coach Ross's injury. He definitely brings something very special to our sideline, and we as coaches have just collectively had to get better to pick up that slack. So I'm really confident about what's going to be happening after this bye week. Like I said, this is a great group of guys, and I think Quad Cities has really got something to look forward to here the second half of the season.
Well, you mentioned it because the perfect start was so much fun, but that wasn't the goal. Was to be 6-0 and then be done. And the goal's down later on the road in an IFL championship, and a lot of times you can learn through losing. I mean, no coach likes to lose. I get all that, but you can lose, and obviously the injuries are a big part of it. But what did you guys learn about yourselves, and what has the coaching staff seen from these guys about the way they've kind of responded after the bye week and maybe being slapped in the face a little bit with a couple losses?
Yeah, we definitely learned something, about, our mental, the way that we look at our games and how we perform mentally. As professional athletes, I mean, they're here for a reason. They've come from really good colleges, throughout the country. So, I mean, to be a steamwheeler, you got to be, a good physical football player. But what we've learned, about about the mental aspect of it is, if you have your head coach that, goes down and he's not able to serve in, a certain capacity, or, your starting quarterback goes down, there's just a little bit more, to, how we should respond, in our mental preparation and facing adversity. In week 6, I talked to the guys, about getting mentally prepared for, for adversity. And I think it's taken a few weeks, for that to digest a little bit. But I think after seeing these guys come home after the bye week, and how they've responded to practice, and the energy that they're bringing, I see us getting over that hurdle.
Coach talked about Daquan and him getting healthy, and hopefully he was on last week about getting him back out there, and it was a kind of a day-by-day thing, not a week-by-week thing, and he was pretty optimistic. What have you guys seen this week from him and others? Because there was bumps and bruises along the way, not just at QB1. How are you guys physically as you guys get ready to hit the road coming up later on tonight?
Honestly, man, I think we're back, at 100%. Some of the guys that were dinged up before the bye week, speaking specifically to Daquan looked really great in practice. He's been taking the majority of the snaps, so far this week. We had a little bumps and bruises, on O-line and D-line that probably not a lot of people knew about, but those guys have bounced back after the bye week and just really, truly look like they all have fresh legs. No one's really dealing with, anything that's lasting. So it's really exciting, to come back to the second half of the season at full tilt.
Coach, I talked with Corey Ross last week, and okay, nobody's listening, just you and me. Have you told him to knock it off, that he's too old to be doing some of the stuff that he's doing? Like, that's kind of sounds like an old man injury, doesn't it? Like, you and I are smart to know not to do the stuff we used to do when we were younger, right?
Well, honestly, I'm a little bit older than he is, but I will tell you what. I don't know if you know too much about what happened, but he actually came over to our group run session where our O-line and D-line basically, just little different aspects of the run game. And coach was feeling pretty good that night. And I'm usually the quarterback in that. And I'm like, hey, coach, why don't you come over and be the running back? And I'm telling you, I've never handed off to an NFL caliber running back. And I'm telling you what, it's special. The guy still has it. He jump cuts and does all these other kind of things. And it was just kind of weird, how the injury, happened. And we all knew when it happened because it made such a weird noise, almost kind of like a snap. Our offensive lineman kind of looked behind and they were like, what just happened? But yeah, it definitely is special. The guy definitely could probably still play if he wanted to.
Yeah, no, he's doing what? How is he? Is he doing good? Is he smiling again? I was a little worried about him last week. I wanted to get him rocking and rolling. You can't keep that guy down too long. He's just got too much good spirit and good energy. I'm sure he's ready to rock and roll this week as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the injury, happened on a Thursday, and he was under the knife the following Monday, and I was at his apartment, at his hotel, just kind of helping him, get around a little bit. And I think he had a soft cast on it, and he was up wanting to walk around already. And I think he got a hard cast put on it, which is going to be a little bit more conducive to how active he is now. It's stabilized, and now if he puts some pressure on it, he doesn't have to worry about injuring the Achilles. But I mean, I think if he had his choice, he'd be right back in there right now. I know that he's probably struggling most with not being able to play golf, because we try to play a lot of golf during the season, and we're not able to do that. But yeah, he's special, man. I'm fortunate to call him a close friend of mine, but proud to call him my head coach.
Yeah, and I talk to everybody who comes on the show about the Wheelers. That been around for 8 years, and he's a good dude. Like, he's a really good football coach. You mentioned a good football player back in the day, and even now, but he's a good human being, and that's something that I hope the Quad City, I think they do realize that, but what you see is what you get from Coach Ross. There's no facade.
Absolutely.
There's no, there's just a genuineness about him that you love to see. Coach, you guys, it's funny because I asked last week, when is a bye week a good thing or a bad thing when you're playing well? The first one, you had won 4 games in a row, and then you get a bye week. And it was kind of like, do you want to keep playing or not? Then this one came, and you want to keep playing because you lost 2 straight and you had that frustration. I think it's cool that the team after the bye week is the team that just came into your house and snuck one away. Not to get too much into like the motivating factor, because every game's a big game, but I'm sure the players enjoy seeing Tulsa and the chance to make amends for what happened the last time they were out coming up this week.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And from a coaching standpoint, with us not coming off of a bye week, it gives us just a little bit more time to prep. We obviously scouted them, looked at their film the first time that we played them. So it just kind of gives us I don't want to say a necessarily an advantage, but, just that extra time give us a little bit more to take a deep dive on what could we have done better? What did they do great to capitalize on our mistakes and whatnot? So I think the bye week definitely did help us as a coaching staff. Now, from a player perspective, I mean, there are some ex-Wheelers, on that team. The guys talk a lot. The league is, somewhat small. A lot of guys played with each other in college and whatnot. So there definitely is a competitive rivalry there. There's a true desire to get some get back on Tulsa this week.
Coach, I want to talk a little bit about you as well, because not despite, but also besides the Steamwheelers, you're on the coaching staff over at Augustana. Just talk about that program. I love what Coach Bell does. One of my favorite people, and things have been going in such a good direction at Augustana. How excited are you for and it's become one of those things where now the foundation is kind of laid at Augustana once again, and it's just about building on it every year. How excited are you for what's going on at Augustana College and that football program?
Oh man, I couldn't be more blessed, to have the opportunity, to be at Augie. Back in 2021, I interviewed with Coach Bell, and he took a shot on me. And I don't know if I was at Alleman and UT and part of the Davenport school system before that. I know that our first interaction, being a Alleman alum, was I think at your dad's golf outing. Really, I've been very fortunate having some great mentors and Coach DePorter and Coach Jagger, and leading up to this opportunity with Augustana, just a truly professional group of coaches, and Coach Bell and Coach Ragone and Coach Maloney, basically being that leadership group there. And yeah, it's just really exciting. I mean, the first year that we were there, I think every year that we've been there, I've been there, we've been above 500. The second to last year, we went 8-2, and went to the bowl game in Wisconsin. We got really good recruiting class coming in, and so it's just an exciting time to be a Viking at this point.
Oh, absolutely. How does now they don't play in football, and I get that, but you're an Ambrose guy. You're an Ambrose alum, correct? Like, is it different being an Augie guy? I know they don't play, but like I went to Ambrose, my sister went to Augie. They're two Quad City schools and all those kind of things. Is it okay being a Viking that used to be a B and still is a B? Because once a B, always a B, right?
Yeah, amen. It definitely is fun. I also get to help out with the JV games, and every year we have the Super Bowl. And that's between Augie and Ambrose. It's usually the last game of the year. We typically play them twice. Last year we won the Super Bowl, so we'll see what happens this year. We went undefeated as a JV group and beat Ambrose the last game of the year. But really, honestly, Matt, Ambrose has a great program, and the coaching staff over there, they've opened the door to us. We get to go over there. I think and at the beginning of the year to basically have a practice with them and mutual scrimmage game, and the guys just really kind of feed off each other, and it's just really a great atmosphere. To have two colleges or universities in the Quad Cities that are able to compete against each other and feed off of each other's program.
I want to pick your brain on some high school football for a second before I let you go, and I'm going to start with UT because that's a stop on your resume as well. How much do you still keep an eye on what goes on in the Western Big Six? And we just talked to Mark Pustelnik, the athletic director at United Township, and talked about what Nick Welch has done with that program. Your thoughts on United Township from afar, a place that used to be, and where the Panthers have gone, and what Coach Welch has kind of built over there.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Coach Welch. I was on his staff for 2 years. Cultural changer, and that's really what he's done at UT. I think we all know the problems that they had post, I think, 2000, maybe 2010 was the last successful season. The first year that I was there was the COVID year, and we actually experienced a lot of success. And I think that was Nick's first or second year. But yeah, I mean, UT is, I mean, it's night and day, of what it used to be. And it's all because of, in my opinion, Coach Welch, and his approach at building a culture there, and a no excuses culture. He doesn't care if you're the best player on the team, QB1. If you don't meet a certain criteria, if you're not at practice, you're not at lifts, you're not playing. And, that's the type of discipline that you need to have in a program that's struggled for such a long period of time. And Nick's definitely, turning the page, at UT. So we've seen, a lot of success from UT over the last 5 years. And I see that for the years to come with Coach Welch being at the helm.
Yeah, he's got to send me some money or something, because we've complimented him twice now on the show today. So, and I don't want to get to his head. I don't want that ego getting too big. No, he's a good human being. You mentioned the Alleman Pioneers, and you mentioned two GOATs in Coach DeJager and Coach DePorter. From the outside looking in now, Alleman looking for a new athletic or a new head football coach, but returning to varsity football. I got a kid that goes there. My kids go there. I'm an Alleman guy. I got the Alleman helmet here. I fully believe and know that they'll have a varsity team this year, and they'll get back up and running in the right direction. But you mentioned those two coaches and what Alleman football used to be. Your thoughts on them getting back into varsity football and hopefully heading back in that right direction of what Alleman football was for so long?
Yeah, I mean, I just can't say enough great things, about that program and Alleman football, and just the memories that I've had there, which are the majority of my high school memories between, Coach DePorter and DeJager and their mentorship. I mean, there's just things that I've taken with me, through the professional coaching as well as college coaching, just things that have always stuck. But I'm not very plugged in on the whole Western Big Six, or what is it called now, Matt? Is it the Western Big 8 or 10?
I think it's still 6. All the teams. It's not the right number, but it's still a 6.
They, in my opinion, all politics aside, they should be a 1A school or maybe a 2A school at best, and compete with the Sherrards, the Rock Ridges, and the Brimfield. So I don't know all the politicking that's going on and stuff. I mean, it's great, to have Alleman in the Big Six, but I think it's just better for them on a competition stage for them to be more adequately associated with the correct division. So I don't know what all it takes, and I heard that there's some voting that needs to happen for that to take place. But number one, yes, varsity football back for Alleman football, but I think it would be better if they play it in a lower class. I don't know what's your opinion about that.
No, I mean, 100%. There's 300 kids in the school, and I don't know what it was when you were walking the halls and around the program and all that kind of stuff. But I think when I was there, it was, and that's a long time ago, it was 450, 460, something like that. So obviously it's down some, and you're playing big schools. The problem is, Coach, you need a conference that wants you as well. and you mentioned the Sherrard, the Three Rivers. I know have recently said no, they don't want Alleman to come there. So you have to find a fit, unfortunately, to go to a different conference. Independent is so tough, so difficult when it comes to, and you also got to look outside of football, because at that school there's so many programs doing well: girls basketball, girls soccer, boys tennis. There's that, like, you have to look outside the big picture of things as well. So not an easy fix, but I think, like you just said, it's great to see a traditional powerhouse back doing varsity football. And I think if they do it the correct way and have have realistic expectations on what it is and what you're building towards, and it ain't going to be going to state next year or the year after or anything like that. It's just a slow build back to maybe what they used to be, is 100%. Before we let you go, Wheelers this week at Tulsa, what do you guys have to do to be successful down there to flip the script on what happened back here?
Well, I first think that starts on defense. We got to get turnovers, create turnovers. I always like to settle, for our D line and linebackers, for takeaways. Statistically, we increase our chances by 75% if we get 3 or more takeaways. I think another important element is scoring on special teams, and then also on kickoff return. Making sure that we pin the ball deep and make them go from the distance of the field. And then always with offense, if we can assert ourselves in the run game and be successful with the run, I mean, we can exert our dominance in that form and take the clock down quickly. It just opens up a lot more things if we can assert our dominance with the run game. So I think those are, really the 3 or 4 key takeaways, for this week in my mind, that will definitely secure a win in Tulsa this weekend.
Last one for you, Coach, before we let you go. I've talked to everybody who's come on each Wednesday about the energy around Steamwheeler football. And you've been around it for a while, and I've known it from the early days when I was in college watching the first go-round in the championships. And there's a buzz about this team still now that's just different this year, and it's always good. Do you know what I mean? There's always energy, excitement, great home field advantage, but there's been an extra buzz. Do you guys feel this? Do you feel it as a coach of this could be a pretty special group with some home playoff games and a championship run and all those kind of things? I don't want to put cart ahead of horse, but do you guys feel the buzz maybe from the community this year a little more as well?
Definitely feel it from the community. And from a coaching standpoint, I've always kind of been a little bit reserved before I've come to those conclusions. But I can honestly tell you that the level of confidence that we as a coaching staff have in this team is definitely of a championship caliber. I mean, we go back to 2022 and look at what we had with that group of guys and compare it to what we have now. I mean, it's just as good or better. And obviously, I'm not throwing any shade at the guys from 2022 because we actually have some of those guys that are still on the squad, but there is just a level of confidence that this team has, and it just spills over into the community. I truly think, honestly, these last 2 games were a fluke. We already talked about it with a little bit of the adversity that we face going into week 7 and week 8. We're in a different mental state at this point, and we're going to finish this thing strong. And I will just leave it at this, Matt. If and when, and I'll say when, the playoffs go through the Quad Cities, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. We will be in the national championship game in Tulsa. But as Coach Ross always says, it's week by week.
Yeah, no, 100%. Okay, do me a favor, drive safe. Or get down there safe, get a win, and then also, if I know you mentioned golf, if you guys need somebody to step in for Coach Ross, let me know. Like, I might not hit the ball as far as Coach Ross does and all that kind of stuff, but I'm always looking to swing it. So if you need somebody to get out there with you guys, let me know. Deal?
I got your number now, Matt. I'll definitely hit you up.
I love it. Coach, I appreciate you. Best of luck. Stay healthy, I think is the word here. Not get healthy, but stay healthy. We'll talk to you guys real soon. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Matt.
Awesome. That a lot of fun here on Steamwheeler Wednesdays, and good luck to Coach Wes and the Wheelers as they leave tonight, head down to Tulsa, getting ready for a big game coming up, with Tulsa coming up this weekend. On the road once again the following week, back in the Quad Cities on June 14th, back at Vibrant Arena. So we really appreciate the Quad City Steamwheelers, and exciting times. We'll see if they can continue or get back to their winning ways this weekend. We got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air on a Wednesday right here in the Quad Cities. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Wednesday here in the Quad Cities. A busy Wednesday. It's been a busy week, which is good and fun this time of year. Of course, we made it through a little technical difficulty. You guys got to hear from our sponsors a little longer than usual about midway through, but we survived. A fun show. Pat Anger started things off. We followed that up with Bam Pustelnik stepping down, retiring at United Township, talking about his entire career as an athlete, as a coach, and as an athletic director at United Township High School. And then, of course, Coach Wes just joined us from the Quad City Steamwheelers, talking about the Wheelers hitting the road healthy once again. It was great to hear that Daquan Neal looking great in practice, QB1 looking good, feeling good, playing well in practice. It looks like they'll get him back healthy and 100% against Tulsa in a little bit of a revenge game coming up this weekend as well. Some news that broke today during the show. The Iowa Hawkeyes will be heading back to Des Moines to play men's basketball. They will be playing Bucknell on December 20th at Wells Fargo Arena. So Iowa going to Des Moines for a game this year. I've had people recently ask me, do you think Iowa's going to come back to the Quad Cities for a college basketball game? Boy, I hope somebody does. I don't know how it'll look. I said last year when Iowa was there, it would be great to have Illinois here as well. Almost do like a doubleheader. Iowa plays the first game, Illinois plays the second game. That would be a ton of fun. Obviously, last year's focus was on Owen Freeman and Brock Harding being at the University of Iowa. They're both now at respectively different schools. Brock at TCU, Owen at Creighton. So I doubt that the Iowa basketball program will be coming to the Quad Cities this year, but Iowa will make the trip to Des Moines to take on Bucknell on December 20th. That announced just a short time ago. So we got more to get to coming up throughout the week. 2 more shows to get to. I will let everyone know this. Next Monday is John Deere Classic Media Day, which will probably take away me doing a show. I think we're going to double check things and everything, but I want to get out to that, but it'll make our Tuesday show a lot of fun. So more with that later on, but tomorrow, Throwback Thursday, still working on that and a few other things as we get through the week as well. And again, a couple of reminders. The Rally for Reed camp was 1 month from yesterday. Youth football camp hosted by Jake Gervais. Ton of Iowa football players will be there. June 27th. Go to rallyforre.org. Get signed up for that. There's literally something for everybody. You can get signed up for the cheer camp at St. Ambrose that day as well. That's all tied together. So make sure you do that. Check out Jake Gervais from yesterday's show. Ton of fun catching up with him. And then as we mentioned at the start of the show, the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing is coming up real soon. Less than 3 weeks away, June 14th, Highland Springs Golf Course. Couple more teams we can squeeze in if needed. So if you're interested, get on out and join us and get yourself a team signed up, GuyRandazzoGolf.com. So that'll do it for today's show. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank our sponsors, first and foremost, for allowing me to do this goofy little show each and every day. So we appreciate them. We appreciate you guys for watching a Wednesday edition of Off the Air. We will be back once again with a new show coming up tomorrow.